Don't swipe. I am the angel of happiness. Listen my message carefully. There is always hope and room for healing. Today, give us your worries and focus on what makes you happy. We are working in the background to bring resolution to all that troubles you. Share me, you will have a wonderful day.
Don't ignore this. If you watching this video, money is coming your way in billions. Affirms yes.
Of our team, mainly Kumar, and with the blessings of our producer Dr. Ankam and Vamsi and Teja, we are coming up with our own studio, something like this. So it's been wonderful. Thank you. This is Raj Misai, your video marketing coach. I'll see you soon.
You don't belong at the bottom, and it's time for you to get your butt from down there. It's time for you to stop being comfortable at the bottom. Get your butt up and get to where you're supposed to be.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk to you again, because a vision softly creeping.
Massage.
Oh my God.
Kids would rather be from a broken home than to live in a broken home. Your kids know you're unhappy. They would rather be in a house where this guy wasn't in it and seeing their mama smile again. They'll be fine. Ladies, take the blame off yourself.
My father could have been a great comedian, but he didn't believe that that was possible for him. And so he made a conservative choice. Instead, he got a safe job as an accountant, and when I was 12 years old, he was let go from that safe job, and our family had to do whatever we could to survive. I learned many great lessons from my father, not the least of which was that you can fail at what you don't want, so you might as well take a chance on doing what you love.
Huh?
I owed him up.
If you ignore me, you will regret it later. Listen my words carefully. The pain, heartache, questions, and sleepless nights are coming to an end. I am going to open up the windows of heaven and pour out everything you've been waiting and praying for. Blessings of love, good health, and prosperity are coming your way. You better get ready. That miracle you've been praying for is on its way to you right now. I have your back. I am going to send you a blessing to remind you that I am always in your corner. If you share me,
Our brothers and sisters in Africa have high self-esteem and low levels of confidence. I'm generalizing. They have high self-esteem because their mother and father are home, and they see doctors and lawyers who look like them, and they have high self-esteem. But they have low confidence because their skills have not been tested in a leading market economy.
Wow.
We have the opposite problem. We have high confidence and low self-esteem. We have succeeded in the largest market economy on the planet in spite of all of our challenges, but we have never fixed the self-esteem problem, which is why we cut each other up.
In this experiment, you will see the electricity within fruit compared to meat. By placing these two wires into the watermelon, we create an electrical circuit and we see that electricity is running through it. Even cherries hold electrical energy within them. Remember that every cell in your body conducts electricity. Placing these wires into dead flesh, you see that there is no electrical current coming from the meat or flesh. You are a biological battery, hence why you get charged in a court. You need electricity. Eating flesh will decompose in your body and do nothing for you.
Your attention, please. Your attention, please. I have an announcement to make. I'm bored. Ha ha!
You think you're bored? What about all those poor suckers out there in the audience?
Ah, yeah. They just keep praying that their category is next. Well, as long as they are praying, and while we're at it, I get to anoint their feet.
You keep your hands off me, you little twink, or I'll call the cops.
My daddy's a cop. His breath smells like cat food. And that, my friends, is how I make a living.
I asked him, what are you doing differently from me? Why are you making so many sales? I still recall this changed my life. He said, there's a process, a logical process of selling, and the process has 7 steps. And the first step is to prospect and to speak to the right people. The second is to build rapport and trust with those people. The third is to ask them questions and identify their needs accurately. The fourth step is to make a presentation and show them your product. The fifth step is to answer their objections. The sixth step is to close the sale. And the seventh step is to get resales and referrals.
You were the shadow to my light. Did you feel us? Another star, you fade away. Afraid our aim is out of sight. Wanna see us alive. Where are you now? Where are you now? Where are you now? Was it all in my fantasy? Where are you now? Were you on
Spin the bottom, spin the fucking bottom. If you the reason why it's empty, baby, spin the bottom. Truth is there, no, you don't want no bottom. Spin the bottom, spin the fucking bottom. If you the reason why it's empty, spin the fucking bottom. Truth is there, no, you don't want no problem. You don't want no problem. Bitch, you must want more. So back to what I was saying. This could be us, but she playing. This could be us, but she playing. I'm high, I don't sound crazy.
Develop a sense of urgency. A sense of urgency is a quality that is possessed by only 2% of the population. 2% of the population do things fast. 2% of the population have a bias for action. In Tom Peters' wonderful book, In Search of Excellence, he says that all the excellent companies have a bias for action. And all of the companies that do not classify or do not come into the excellence category do things when they get around to it. You call them up and you have a problem or a complaint. You hear from them 3 or 4 weeks later. But the excellent companies, you call up with a problem or a complaint, and bang, there's somebody back to you in 2 minutes. So develop a sense of urgency. Get the reputation as the person who does things fast. Develop a reputation for speed and dependability, and your future will just open up in front of you.
距离我他说话的一种不嘶哑，那是他在倾诉他的牵挂。他也睡在最后的地点，在你的身边，在你的梦里，如果看见他今天爱他，可不可以让我感受一下？刚才我们对彼此都放心不下，就算一阵风一变一个眼神的触碰都好啊。而他可不可以借你给我回答？
think anybody who wants to be a future leader should have a hip pocket skill that everybody looks at and says, XYZ is the go-to person for that skill. Because unless you're really known for something, and not just as a generalist, you don't stand out from the pack. The second I'd say is courage and confidence. It's a pair. You can be very, very competent, but if you're not willing to speak out, if you're not willing to have the confidence based on your knowledge, what's the point? The third is communication skills. You cannot overinvest in communication skills, written and oral communications, because as a leader, you constantly have to mobilize the troops. Fourth skill I'd say is consistency. It's important that leaders are consistent. You can change your mind, but change your mind against a consistent framework, because if you're not consistent, people are always second guessing what you're doing. So be consistent. And the last skill is your compass. Integrity is critical in this job. You can be competent, you can be courageous, have confidence, be a great communicator, be consistent. But if you don't have integrity, if that compass doesn't point true north, everything comes crashing down, as we've seen in recent times.
Do you know the theory behind why restaurants give you bread before your meal?
Like, there's actually a theory?
So when you go into some restaurants, they will either give you a free basket of chips or a basket of bread, right?
Yes.
But what if I told you it's not the restaurants being nice? There's actually a dark reason why they give you this bread. So recently, scientists released a study where they found out how bread is digested inside your body. It only takes 15 minutes for the sugar from the bread to digester. And we all know that bread is like sugar for the body. When the sugar is in your body, it gives you a boost of energy. Then, once the sugar starts to leave your system, we start to feel tired. And we also want to eat more food, especially sugary food, to replace that low. So the theory is that the restaurants give you bread to boost your energy, because it actually makes you hungrier later on in the meal and makes you order more food or dessert.
Oh, okay.
There have also been studies that found out that restaurants that give out bread sell.
Four things you need to know before you go out into the world. You remember these things and you'll be the best person you can be. First, look at this pencil. We know that in order for it to become a useful pencil, that from time to time, again and again, it's going to have to go through a resharpening. Well, if this pencil could feel, we could imagine how painful that would be. But that's what it takes for it to be a useful pencil. Life is much the same. Painful experiences and challenges come to us all. But it is through these opportunities that we build character and we grow. Second is to keep in mind that we'll be able to correct many of the mistakes you make along the way, just like this eraser. So if we learn from our mistakes, they're not mistakes. They're lessons we can use to do better the next time around. And third, just like this pencil, every place where you are used, so to speak, you leave your mark. You're writing your own story. And fourth, always remember, the most important part of you is what's inside.
In 100 years, in 2124, we will all be buried with our relatives and friends. Strangers will live in our homes which we fought so hard to build, and they will own everything we have today, including that car you spent a fortune on. Our descendants will hardly know who we were. How many of us know our grandfather's father? After our death, we will be remembered for a few years. And a few years later, our history, our photos, our deeds go into the dustbin of oblivion. We won't even be memories. Maybe if one day we stopped to analyze these questions, we would understand how ignorant and weak the dream of obtaining everything was. Always having more and more without having time for the things that are really worthwhile in this life. I'd change all that to live and enjoy those walks I've never taken.
See, when you make a mistake, just get up and go again. What you tripping for? I made public mistakes, man. Let me tell you something, man. When on Miss Universe, I have to apologize. I took that myself. You know how many people wrote me off? You know how many letters I got from TV execs? We're proud of you for doing the right thing, but oh my God, a horrible mistake. I hope you're gonna be okay. You hope I'm gonna be, my career over cause of that? People wrote me off. You know what, I just got up. I kept coming to work. I'm back. I just kept coming. I kept showing up. Cause eventually, well, what you gonna do? The time has come. You know, my father used to always tell me something. You're gonna either get over it or die mad. You got two choices. You can get past it or you can die mad. Now, if you want to die mad, carry your ass on and just die mad. But God forgave me, so I got up and I kept going.
There are 4 hormones that come into play when you start eating right and exercising right. First one is always dopamine. You're like, wow, you've seen someone running a marathon. You're like, I want to do that. And you set a goal. You haven't done anything yet, but the very concept that you can do that, you're already in a dopamine state. When you start doing it, you start actually showing up at the gym, you start running. At that stage, the endorphin starts to kick in. So you start to sweat. And that high lasts about 5-6 hours. You know from experience that what a workout does, no drug in the world can do. Yeah. But then you work out for about 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, serotonin comes into play, which is your essential happiness hormone. So while dopamine is your excitement, endorphin is your pleasure, but what really gives you sort of antidepressant effect is the serotonin, where you're now in a state of wellness. But after this, what I have found when you do it for a few months is when the oxytocin comes in, the self-love, which is, you know what, I've loved who I've become. And you start standing by your choices, not because they are right or wrong, because you start falling in love with who you are for following that.
The fitter you are, the less our heart needs to pump. So you've probably heard of resting heart rate. The fitter you are, the lower your resting heart rate. You know, mine is, well, in Australia it was 45, but if you've got a resting heart rate of, you know, I would say 55 to 60, it's okay. We've got Tour de France athletes who have got like a resting heart rate of 38. That means their heart is so efficient, it is so strong, that every time it pumps so strong that it ejects enough blood for the entire body. So it says, okay, I'm fine, I got enough blood, I don't need to keep beating. Whereas if you don't have a cardiac system that is efficient and effective and it's weak, you're going to be needing to pump out blood at rest, and that's not good. We don't want that. So aerobic physical activity not only strengthens the cardiovascular system, but you're strengthening the arteries. So that is one of the good things of aerobic exercise.
And that stops people starting in business or pursuing their passions or their goals. They're imprisoned by this false sense of a need for perfection. Like, I need to have all the information, a mentor, the funding, and the perfect timing. None of these things exist. The perfect timing is the biggest illusion of them all, right? So, because there's never will be a perfect time, so you have to pick an imperfect time. And then that cripples them into procrastination, where they make no decision. For Steve Bartlett, 18 years old, who knew nothing, including what the word entrepreneur was, there was a challenge I wanted to solve in the world, and I opened up my computer, opened up PowerPoint, and started trying to design a website on PowerPoint, just by using the little boxes and circles they give you. And I did that for months. And then, okay, someone said, I'm going to need money because I'm going to need someone to build this. I went on Google every day and just tried my best to find an investor, send email, send LinkedIn message. A very, very simple way to approach life. If you approach it as, I need to climb Mount Everest, procrastination, you'll never do it. You'll be plagued by fear and evidence of your own inadequacy. If you think, I just need to move this pebble today, and then I'll wake up tomorrow and move one more pebble, and then I'll do one more step, things become a much more attainable. And that's what I think my mind has always defaulted to, which is the way to climb Everest is just one small step at a time, and sometimes one imperfect step at a time.
Did you know your heart is not actually a pump? The heart is in the shape of a chestahedron, a 7-sided shape where all of the surface areas are the same. When placing a chestahedron in a box, it sits on an angle of 36 degrees off center. This is the same angle which the heart sits in the chest, hence why it's called a chestahedron. Placing a chestahedron in water creates a vortex in the water, and your heart tissues is in a vortex spiral. Your heart is actually one muscle but wrapped in a spiraling vortex form. This is because your heart is a vortex energy generator. Blood enters the heart and creates a vortex spiral inside of the heart. Your heart turns water in the blood into plasma, the fourth state of water, which they'll never tell you about. Plasma makes up approximately 55% of your blood. The earth is electromagnetic. The reason why heart rearranged is earth is because the heart takes the electromagnetic energy of the earth and turns this into plasma in the blood to run the physical body. Your heart is directly connected to the universe, to the electromagnetic energy of the earth. This is why we always see Jesus pointing at his heart. Your heart is inside of the chest. This is where the treasure is, inside of the heart. Your heart contains 40,000 neurons, which is the exact same cells in your brain. The heart is the emotional brain which gives you guidance. It tells you what is right and what is wrong. This is why we say follow your heart. So much more that goes into the heart. I teach everything in the new lecture in my universe.
Olá meninas, uma dupla infalível para quem vai viajar é a nossa saída branca e o chapéu de palha. Você pode usar ela, tomara que caia, amarrar ela no pescoço. Se você quiser acinturar, vai colocar as tirinhas para o lado e passar pela sua cintura, ou você também pode usar como uma saia pareô. Vai pegar as tirinhas, fazer uma volta e amarrar ela nas costas. Você também pode usar esse modelo como longo, onde os dois braços vão na abertura. Nós vamos pegar as tirinhas, fazer uma volta entre elas e amarrar ela nas costas. Podemos também deixar essas tirinhas soltas e pegar as pontinhas, sempre ajustando o tamanho do decote. Vamos fazer uma voltinha, puxar e amarrar ela lá nas costas. Se você quiser um modelinho mais praia, pegue essas pontinhas e faça um nozinho na frente. E pode ajustar o decote também. Podemos usar ela de um ombro só, aonde um braço vai na abertura. Vamos posicionar as tirinhas para o lado, acinturar, usar ela sem a manga ou puxar a manguinha. E também podemos usar ela no modelo midi, aonde vamos pegar as duas pontas e passar entre a cintura. Tchau, tchau!
The only organ capable of independent thought, not controlled by the brain, is the gut. Why is the gut so remarkable? At first glance, the gut and the brain seem unrelated, but recent studies have shown that the microorganisms in the gut can establish communication pathways between the two. As the body's waste processing plant, the gut is home to at least 100 trillion microorganisms. These microorganisms not only decompose and absorb food, but also quietly influence your emotions. Through the digestion and metabolism of food, they can produce new substances, the most significant of which is serotonin. Serotonin is a neurotransmitter, and 95% of the body's serotonin comes from the gut. Known as the happy molecule, serotonin can travel to the brain via the vagus nerve, helping to combat sadness and generate feelings of happiness. This phenomenon is known as the gut-brain interaction. Unlike other organs, the gut doesn't just mechanically follow the brain's commands. It can make its own judgments and take action. The gut's inner wall is lined with an independent nervous system, containing over 100 million neurons. Even if the brain malfunctions, the gut can still respond to stimuli. From an evolutionary perspective, the nervous system first appeared in senile.
Ladies, you don't always make it easy for us. That's because what you say is not always what you mean. Here are what we've called some of the deadly terms used by women. Like this one right here. Seriously? Which actually means she's giving you a chance to rethink what you just said. Moving on, here's another deadly term. Go ahead. This is a dare, not permission. This just a damn dare. Whatever it is, don't do it. Whatever it is, go ahead. Go ahead. No, go ahead. Don't do it. What about this one right here? Here's a good one. Maybe. What that actually means is hell no. You want to go over my mother's house? Maybe. All right, how about this one right here? That's okay. She's thinking long and hard on how and when you'll pay for your mistake. That's what that is. That's okay. Then there's this single word.